How's my audio?
No, you're fine. Sounding great.
Great.
Okay, quick question before we start. How would you like me to call, what name would you like me to use?
I'm gonna stick with Anna Wood, it's my working name, but um, my shoot name is kind of attached to some tragic backstory stuff which I'll probably get into anyway, but I've
Yep,
sort of been using my gimmick name a lot more often these days.
yep. No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
so
I just want to make sure I'm doing it right. Okay, cool. Easy conversation. Any time you can say, no, don't want to answer that. Or whatever makes you comfortable. You know what I mean?
cool. Yeah,
So,
and if say a no word or phrase something in a way that's not going to work, just let me know and I'll go
yep,
back and redo it. So
yeah, yep,
yeah,
cool.
obviously we want to do as little editing for you as possible, but
Yeah, for the first time ever, I've never done this before, I'm prepared with a pad and a pen so I can write down the timestamp of when I need to edit.
ah,
Which is the main reason I don't like editing. It's like, I don't want to listen to the whole thing, you know?
agree, yeah, absolutely. It's taking psychic damage listening to your own voice or looking at your own face for
Yeah.
like I've been having to get used to it doing the TikToks, but it's definitely been a learning curve.
It is.
At first, I used to just kind of just upload them and post and run away because
Yeah.
I was just like, okay.
It's quite funny because I do stand-up comedy, and the biggest way to develop is to watch yourself, you know?
Mm,
And boy, it's painful sometimes.
yeah.
Especially on the
Well,
nights you bomb. It's real
we
bad.
we watch tape as well. Like on Tuesdays, which is the night I usually train, I'll actually bring my camera along, set up the tripod, and record all the training matches, and then
Yep.
edit them and upload them. And it's definitely a do as I say, not as I do, because I upload them for everybody to watch, and then I never watch my own training matches
Yep. Oh,
because I'm already cringing. I can remember the mistakes I made, and
yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And it's funny too because I watch stand up. I mean, I teach people to do stand up. Like I run a stand up comedy course. And I always say to them, I'm like, look, I'm 14 years in to doing stand up. My bad habits are set. So don't do what I'm doing, but do
yeah,
what I tell you because I know I'm doing it wrong.
yes.
You've got to do it right. So, okay, cool. Right. Oh, the other thing is, you said you can go on for a while. That's fine. I've blocked out 2 hours to do this.
Oh, awesome.
But if in those 2 hours you need to go to the loo, whatever, let the dog out, whatever, just yell out
Yes.
and we can pause. I should warn you, I have a bit graphic. I have a bladder the size of a thimble. So I've limited my water to try not, but I might also have to stop just
Yep,
in
that's
case.
fine. That's fine. I may or may not have to take possession of my kitten in a little while.
Yeah.
He's too small to be left alone, so he
Oh,
may have to come in and
yeah.
scamper around. And I've just been putting his cat tower together this afternoon.
Oh, fun. Do you want to hear
Yeah,
something
he's
crazy? Is
spoiled.
one of our very close friends runs an animal shelter in Woodville, and she's overloaded with kittens at the moment. So we have 7 kittens from 2 different litters at the
New
moment.
fostering.
Yeah,
Oh,
just to help her out, just because she's so overwhelmed with kittens that
how
we
old are
said, like,
they?
oh, two we picked up today, and they said 9 weeks, but there is no way they're 9. If they're 9 weeks, they're malnourished.
Mm,
We think they're 6 at best.
yeah,
The others are probably about 11 weeks old. So,
yeah, yeah. So Grex the Destroyer turned up.
it's
Turned
great.
up after the cyclone.
Yep.
The neighbour's kids brought him around, and he was 250 grams,
Oh,
3 weeks old,
that's
and
rough.
small for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And now he's over 700 grams,
Yeah.
and
Wow.
he's not even 6 weeks. So his bro is bulking.
Love it. Love it. All right, let's crack into this. So, thank you for doing this. So, weird story. I told you this over email. I'm a massive wrestling fan. I've watched wrestling all my life. I must admit, I've actually strayed away from the big brands, I guess you could say, from America
Hmm.
for last few years. I still follow it online, but I don't tend to watch it as much anymore.
Can be a bit of a slog sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. When
It's
there's
a, it's
over
a huge
20
time
hours a week,
commitment.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still keep up with all the results, and we watch WrestleMania and all that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
I
I
still,
just r/squared circle on Reddit is basically
yeah, yeah,
my cheat sheet.
100%. But I have a friend who is an on again, off again wrestler when his mental health allows, locally. So I still follow the local scene quite well, for the Wanganui guys.
Oh, yep.
So I love those guys. And you obviously match my algorithm, on
Mm.
TikTok. So I was like, what's this? Oh, this is great. And loved your content immediately, because you have a really cool way of delivering what you want to say, really all attitude, but you actually say something. You know what I mean? Like you're actually
Yeah.
saying something worth listening to, which I love,
I
because
like to
it's
think that the four pillars of my content are sort of health and safety and first aid stuff,
yeah,
sort of story times, wrestling history, and boob jokes.
yeah, yeah. But it's great. It's really fun, but it's really interesting, and it's really nice to see. Well, I get, yes, it is nice to see female wrestlers, female referees from New Zealand, doing the mahi. But it's also, I just love seeing more New Zealand wrestling content, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's also great to see, you've posted a few clips as well of not just you talking, but actually you in action with training and all that sort of thing. And it's really cool to see you
Mm.
working with wrestlers and seeing how it goes. So I guess the first question is what was the journey to go from young Anna to where you are now?
Well, I came to wrestling quite late.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't something we watched in my household when I was growing up. My
Mm.
my dad used to be a fan until he got smartened up, and I think he never forgave wrestling for not being real. And so I came to it quite late. I actually started watching it at a friend's house when we were hungover.
Mm.
And I remember it was a Team Hell No match, and it was a blindfolded and
Okay.
one hand tied behind his back match.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it and thinking, oh, I know what this is. This is just stunt work because my background is in film and
Yeah.
I work with a lot of stuntmen. And so I sort of thought, oh, okay, it's stunt fighting. Okay, cool. I understand what this is. And then as I started watching more, I started seeing all the other elements that go into wrestling because
Yeah.
it basically is almost any form of entertainment you can think of
Mm.
is contained within wrestling. Yeah,
Yes.
you it's music, lights, extravaganza, costumes. Sometimes you'll get songs and dances even,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then and then there's men in spandex fake fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's everything. It's everything everyone wants. I just wish more people would realize it's what they want. Um,
Mm,
so
yes, it is definitely it's quite a high bar of entry to sort of
yeah.
say, look, I know you've grown up thinking that this is stupid, but just give me a minute, just. But I like to start with Lucha Underground if I'm trying to get somebody to
Wow.
see wrestling as an art form
Yep. Yep.
because of the immersion, because of the way it's designed. It's beautifully shot. It's
Yes.
edited. It has those cinematic promos,
Yeah.
and of course the wrestling is also top notch. And of
Oh
course
yeah.
it's got my boy Penta.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that. Penta is.
Uh,
I'm a
Penta
massive
is
Penta
my
fan.
number one.
Yeah.
He's my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
I saw him as Pentagon Jr. that
Hmm.
first season, the Breaker of Bones arc,
Yeah.
the match of Vampiro. I was just like, that's my guy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. So you're at your friend's house. You're hungover. This comes on. You're like, what is this? You start discovering more. How do you then go from hungover to in the ring?
I go to the ring. Oh, it's a bit of a roundabout journey. So I had a bit of a I had a professional crisis, and uh, long story short, I had to stop all of the work that I was doing at the time because
Hmm.
I had a co-creative, co-writer, co-director, co-producer, co-everything.
Yeah.
And he got charged with having things on his computer that nobody should ever have on their computer. And so that was a huge
Mm.
shock and betrayal. And I had to basically pull the plug on all of our projects.
Yeah.
We had a short form film in development.
Mm.
I was working on a documentary, which I was
Wow.
quite passionate about. It was about chronic pain
Oh, wow.
and how it can be, and how the medical system doesn't know what to do with it.
Mm.
And I just narrowed in on what I was going to do it about, specifically about endometriosis.
Yeah.
And then boom, the whole thing had to just go out the window. And because it was going through court, there was a name suppression, and I
Mm.
wasn't able to sort of talk openly about what was happening.
Mm.
And so I had to go pull us out of all our projects, basically go almost no contact with the film industry because I couldn't tell them what was happening, but at the same time, I couldn't lie by omission.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I couldn't ask people to work with me without knowing what was going on. So
Mm.
suddenly I had a huge crisis, and I had the choice of lying down and dying or
Mm.
getting up and keeping going out of spite. And I had a lot of spite.
Mm. Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, what can I do with myself? And I had a mutual who I saw was involved with IPW, which is Impact Pro Wrestling, my home promotion.
Hmm.
And I sort of said, hey, look, can I help out? Like, obviously I have some transferable skills in
Mm.
the writing, directing, but I was like, look, I'll put out chairs. I just need to be out of my house and out of my head.
Yeah.
And when I turned up to do a promo, so this is just flyering, just handing out flyers for a show.
Mm. Yeah.
I was told that there was a referee shortage.
Mm.
And I thought, I don't know if I'll be any good at that. I'll probably suck, but I can try.
Yeah.
And I was right, I did suck.
Yeah.
I was very bad initially, and because I was running on so much spite
Yeah.
and cold fury,
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm gonna master this.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
gonna let
great.
this get the better of me. I'm just gonna keep going until I get better.
Yeah.
And so I stuck with it, and I basically doubled down. I started coming to training at least once a week, twice a week if I could,
Yeah.
trying to speed run because I started late,
Yeah.
and so I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so I've just gone past 2 years in the
Cool.
business, so I'm still quite green
Yeah.
on paper, but I'm also past I'm coming up to 220 matches.
Wow.
I
That's
have a
amazing.
spreadsheet.
Yeah. That's great. 220 matches is absolutely amazing. And I can understand what you're saying because nobody gets it right the first time. You've got to
No.
learn. Yeah, and you've got to learn the real subtlety of not just wrestling, but you did. You would have had to learn psychology and how to put a
Mm.
match together and structure, and then refereeing, which I think there's a lot of people who don't quite get the subtlety of what a ref does and
Mm.
the importance of a referee in a wrestling match. Like
Yes.
I think I was really lucky because being a lifelong wrestling fan, I started in the era where every match they named the referee, so the referees were part of the match.
Yes.
And so you got to know the Timmy Whites, and the Little Natures and
Yeah, Charles
Charles
Robinsons,
Robinson.
your Hebners, your
Yep,
Mike
exactly.
Chioda. Yeah, there's a lot of ones you can name drop.
Oh,
And
for
then, of
sure.
course, WWE went through a phase of referees are anonymous. They're interchangeable. They don't exist.
Yeah,
And now they're like, and then sort of in 2017, big song and dance, Jessica Carr, first
yeah,
female referee. Bollocks.
yeah,
Rita Chatterton was the first female referee in WWE.
yeah, yeah,
They've liked to memory hole that one.
yeah. They're very creative with their history.
Absolutely. Very revisionist.
So I can imagine.
Reminded of the photograph of Stalin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, when there's like four people in the first photograph, and then they just keep on photoshopping, old school photoshopping the others out until eventually it's just him.
yeah, yeah. And what's sad about that is they Photoshop them out of the photo and existence, but that's a different
Yes.
ball game.
It's probably a different podcast.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what I'm curious to ask is the you're chugging along in this career of film, and documentaries, and you're looking at your documentary on endometriosis, and suddenly this crisis happens. And what did wrestling do for your mental health after that? Well, like, was that part of your journey back?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not the only person who will say this, but wrestling might have saved my life, literally,
Yeah,
because I had to, if I didn't find something to do, something to love, and something to put my energy into, I don't know if I would have held it together
yeah,
at all.
yeah,
And so at least I had something that I could just commit to and jump in. And wrestling took me as I was. No backstory,
yeah,
no accolades, no past achievements. They didn't care what I said, they only cared what I did. So I can turn up and say, oh, I can do this and this and this. I'm a screenwriter, I'm a designer, and they're like, well, bitch, prove
yeah,
it,
yeah,
in a way. And so it was almost, it was a fresh start.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was people who didn't know the baggage, didn't know me with my previous collaborator, just me standing alone. And so by them getting to know me, I was able to get to know me a bit better as well.
Yeah. It's a funny you say, wrestling saved your life. I think that will go for a lot of people. I'm going to tell you a story. I wasn't planning to tell the story, but since you've said it, I've actually never told anyone this. Oh, no, sorry, I've told
Oh,
one of my best friends this. I'm a massive Jeff Hardy fan.
right.
Despite all his issues he's had, I'm still a big Jeff Hardy fan. And like everyone else, I'm also an Undertaker fan. And so, 2002, I was in high school. It was my final year of high school. I was going through a really hard time, really, really hard. And I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
Mm, yeah.
And I'm like, that's it. I've had enough. Anyway, text message comes through, and it was a friend of mine, and he goes, "Bro, Undertaker versus Jeff Hardy. I just watched it. I'll get you the tape because I didn't have Sky. I'll get you the tape." And I went, "Really?" He's like, "It's a ladder match." And I sat there and I thought about it, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And then I thought, I really want to see that ladder
But
match.
yep.
Yeah, And it was enough. It was enough
Yep.
to be like, okay, I'm not going to see my mate for a day or two. I can hang in a day or two. And
Yeah.
then,
And I think sometimes you think, well, I do want to see this match, and then I can kill myself.
yeah,
You know, if I still feel like it.
if I still feel like it. By the time I watched the end of the match, I was like, I'd not forgotten, but I'd moved on. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
You've the crisis has
calmed.
subsided
Yeah,
slightly, maybe.
yeah, exactly. So it's amazing to hear that it's not just me, and I think there's probably
Mm,
people all around the world who can credit wrestling and maybe other forms of entertainment, but it's just
yeah.
sort of sometimes you have that drive.
There's a promoter in Hamilton named Michael Green. I have to introduce you to him. He
Yep,
runs Heathen Combat, so that's a sort of smaller promotion.
yep,
I referee for them as well, and he was it's his story to tell, but he was basically on the edge, and Mustafa Ali replied to his tweet,
wow, yeah,
and he said that was what it took to just keep him going.
yep.
So yeah, there's quite a few of us. Although some people wrestling has damaged their mental health as well.
Yeah,
Swings and roundabouts.
yeah, it is. And I want to come back to that about that, but I just want to keep on your journey. So, you start training, you start refereeing matches. Actually, out of curiosity, your first night they said they're short. You went out and did it. Wasn't as good as you hoped, maybe.
Mm.
How long before you felt the confidence of like, I've got this? I think I'm really good at this, or I think I can do this.
Mm. Well, I always like to make myself uncomfortable, so I try to make it so that I'm never going, oh, I've got this.
Yeah,
I like to up the ante as much as I can,
yeah,
but it was we had a very, very big show in Hamilton, just live in Hamilton. Huge gate, filling out the Y Recreation Centre, which is where they have a lot of MMA fights and things as well. And it was my first main event.
Hmm.
And before the show, the senior official, so Conan Wood is basically New Zealand's senior official. He's New Zealand's Charles Robinson.
Mm.
He's over 1,500 matches
Wow.
now, and he is the referee's referee.
Mm.
And he took me aside and he gave me a set of stripes with the Wood and Sons logo on the arm,
Wow. Yeah.
and took a photograph, and he gave me my gimmick name, Anna Wood.
Mm.
And the reason I like to use it as much as I can is that I earned the name.
Yeah.
And so it's something I take a lot of pride in.
Wow.
But yeah, but then the feedback I got after the show from one of the top guys, you know, who said something to somebody else who said it to me, as wrestling usually goes, telephone, telegraph, telewrestler.
Seriously, yeah.
But he said that the way I emote
Hmm.
makes me very makes me relatable, and sort of makes me a conduit and an
Mm.
audience proxy, so
Mm.
they can see the way that I'm reacting emotionally is in tune with how they're reacting.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a feedback loop, so they're not um and it wasn't something I started out to do deliberately.
Mm.
I didn't go out there sort of going, I'm going to use my face to communicate all the emotions of the match. I have a loud face.
Mm.
You can usually tell what I'm thinking on my face. And um, I found that that was actually an asset.
Yeah.
Because especially when you've got like a fresh audience and they're not familiar with live wrestling, they don't,
Mm.
New Zealand audiences are quite slow to warm up. We
Yes.
don't like to make a big noise and make a big fuss.
Hmm.
So at the beginning of the show, the announcer always has to say, "Hey, look, if you see someone you like, you can cheer, and if you see someone you don't like, you can boo.
Yeah.
You guys are the other half of the show.
Yeah.
Come on now,
Yeah.
come on, I can't hear you."
Yeah.
Yeah, and like so now I found that I can do things like just I can use my facial expression to sort of communicate that this guy is a heel and he's cheating and I'm mad at him,
Yeah.
or in this guy, he's coming out, he's a baby face. I'm very proud of him. He's such a nice boy. And
Mm.
I just kind of let that creep into my face, and that helps tell the story.
Gotcha. And do you? I know when we chatted a little bit over email, you mentioned you wanted to be a wrestler, but you had injuries that
Mm.
prevented you from doing so. So could you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, so I turned up with my neck pre-broken, which saves a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yes, I have from my days in film.
Hmm.
I had a very bad neck injury. It was herniated. It was arthritic. Neck was crumbling, so I had to have it fused, and it was a brutal recovery. It
Mm.
was 9 months before I could even work again. And then I went and worked on a show as a puppeteer, which
Oh
is
wow.
not a very easy upper body situation when you've
No.
just had your neck fused.
Yeah.
Um, but I did try. I did attend a rookie training,
Hmm.
and as soon as I tried to do a backwards roll, I knocked my head on the canvas, and the trainers very rightly said, "No, out you get. Um,
Mm.
please get out of the ring before you break your neck again."
Yeah.
So what I figured out was you can wrestle safely with a fused neck.
Mm.
It's learning to wrestle.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because you have
Yeah.
to make mistakes, and my margin for error making mistakes is very, very slim.
Mm.
And my surgeon actually said, if you do anything as stupid as professional wrestling, I'm not going back in there to fix it for you.
Yeah. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And
So the
so,
refereeing is a bit of a loophole.
yeah, and again, I don't think enough people understand. And I know I've said this just before, but refereeing is an art.
Mm.
And I think what you do is really, really cool. Do you find? Oh, actually, just on the injury and stuff like that, do you ever have to do ref bumps? And if so, are you a bit more particular about Okay, I'll take
Yes,
it, but only this, or sort of thing. Do you have to?
I'm very particular about when and where and who I will bump
Yeah.
a bump for.
Mm.
I can't back bump. That's off the table. But your standard ref bump isn't actually a flat back bump.
Yeah.
It's actually more of a crumble.
Yeah.
A wrestling bump is basically hitting the mat as with everything at the same time as hard as you can.
Mm.
Whereas a referee bump is basically you go down from ankles, knees, hips, waist, shoulders. You're basically just turning into a puddle of stripes.
Yeah.
So, but I like to save my bumps because even though in a perfect world we'd have complete equality, it is more of a big deal if somebody knocks a female referee over.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it a very powerful storytelling tool.
Mm.
And if I'm getting knocked over left, right, and center, everyone gets desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm protective and I sort of pick and choose, working with the bookers, obviously, I'm not
Yeah.
going to sort of
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
no, I'm not bumping in this match, but in general, trying to save it up for when it's really impactful.
Mm.
And so, like I've had a couple of it's a bit of an ongoing storyline with me and Jay Rilla and James Shaw, where they've had a couple of matches, and in both of those matches, Shaw's hit me with a stray and knocked me out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the first time it was a real stray,
Oh
and I had a spectacular black eye for for a few weeks after that.
wow.
But that's just a millimeter of positioning.
Yeah.
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 S- So, but then when he did it again, and I get back in the ring, and I'm absolutely furious, and there's photographs of me just like chewing him out,
Yeah.
and sort of that's so it becomes part of the story.
That's really cool. Do you? How do you find it being a female? Just on that, like female
Mm.
and a referee, but also in the wrestling business in New Zealand, like because I can imagine there's some. I mean, there's great people in this industry, in your industry. There's amazing people, but I can imagine there's also you get new people coming through, and you don't know who they are. You don't know if you're safe
Mm.
around them. Like, do you want to? Are you able to talk about that a little bit? I don't want you to name names, but like,
Yeah, no,
do you
of
ever
course.
have situations where you're like, what, I'm just going to walk away. I'm just going to remove myself, or I'm just going to stick close to those who I feel
Mm.
safe with.
Yeah, so we travel in packs to start
Yeah,
off with.
yeah.
I like to call it the safari because there's usually a couple of zebras and then J Rilla the great ape road tripping together.
Awesome.
So generally speaking, I'm never going to be alone at any
Mm,
kind of wrestling event, and I usually have my boys with me.
yeah,
But as one of few women, so we do have a women's roster, and they are awesome and amazing.
hmm
Um, but I tend to mix more with the because I travel with the referees,
yeah.
I work with the tech crew for setup, so I run in a different circle.
Mm,
And so most of the time I'm the only woman within earshot.
yeah,
And there's promotions that I work for where I will be the only woman on the show, full stop,
mm,
because we're still growing
yeah,
that division.
yeah.
And the way I get about the way I approach it is I make the most inappropriate joke first, so
Gotcha.
that the guys know that they don't have to mind their P's and Q's, and if I catch them staring at my tits, I'm not going to be mad,
Yeah, yeah.
basically. Basically. So I let's say I have had a few tense encounters.
Mm,
There is it really depends where you're working. Sometimes the locker room culture can be a bit off,
yeah,
but for the most part, most of the promotions that I work for are very much pride themselves on being good environments.
that's great.
Uh, I mean, for instance, we're all pretty much most all of us are sober. Like
Yeah.
you'll never see, alcohol isn't really a factor.
Mm,
We hardly ever play venues that have alcohol, but
yeah,
even if we do, no one's sneaking out to the bar.
yeah,
So you remove that aspect, and that sort of already makes everyone's behavior a little bit better.
Yes. Yeah.
But mainly because we're there to work.
Yeah. It's a lot better than in comedy because it's all about the bar. You know, a lot
Mm,
of venues will have us because of the bar. That's where they make their
yes.
money, whereas they don't make money off us, you know. So I know for female comedians, it is often a case of, hey, somebody walk them out, you know, make sure they get
Yeah.
to their car okay. And it's not being chauvinistic. It's like we want to protect our people, you know, and we want to make
Oh,
sure.
exactly. Like we'd all like to think that we're safe walking to our cars in the dark, but um, unfortunately, that's not actually the reality.
Yeah,
And especially with some fans are very passionate about wrestling. We'll just put it that way.
yeah,
Um, and so it's always wise to just be aware.
yeah, yeah. And that's it. It's about being aware of your surroundings and being aware who's there and maybe who took the show a little too seriously. Well, in comedy, you know,
Mm,
sometimes people take a joke a little too seriously and think, oh, I'll talk to them after the show, and
yeah.
it's not very good. I just want to just go back to injuries. I know one of the things that you're quite passionate about, and that we did email a little bit is head injuries.
Yes.
And obviously you've suffered.
Yes, this is my soapbox.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Let's soapbox it. I
Yeah.
mean, this is what this podcast is.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course, we have to talk about, if we're going to talk about wrestling
Yeah,
and TBIs, we have to talk about Chris Benoit.
yeah, and I'm
Yes.
really curious to get your take. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about me and Chris Benoit. I've met Chris Benoit,
Oh
ironically,
my goodness.
briefly, after an event in Wellington, and he was walking into a bar, and this is well before what happened, obviously.
Of course. Well, it can't have been after.
No, yeah, well, that's right, I guess so. Walking into a bar, and we were leaving the venue, ran into him. Hey, thank you. We but massive fan. We followed you since Japan. Da, da, da. And he was like, hey, thanks. Good to see you. And off he goes. That was literally the extent of it. It really was nothing that
Yeah.
exciting. I actually found out later because a friend of mine went to that bar. Coincidentally, he didn't know they were there. And he was drinking with The Undertaker, which I thought was quite rad.
Oh my
And I was
goodness.
like, God, if I just followed him in.
Oh,
But I was, as I said, I've followed Chris Benoit since Japan, since tape trading days of, hey, you got to watch this. It's amazing. It's these two guys. One's from Mexico. His name is Eddie Guerrero. One's from Canada. His name is Chris Benoit.
yeah.
That's how far back it goes.
Mm.
Huge fan my whole life. He, Eddie, Chris Jericho were the reason. And actually, later on, Dean Malenko. Once I
Yeah, I
discovered
was going to
him,
say Dean Malenko, the,
yeah,
the vanilla midgets,
yeah, they
as
were
they
the
were known.
reasons. They were the only reasons I watched WCW. I was never a Hogan fan. Oh, actually, I was a Savage fan, but I was never really a Hogan fan. WCW wasn't in New Zealand for a long time, so I didn't know the guys like Sting and Ric Flair until a lot later. But I
Mm.
knew these guys from Japan, and I was like, okay, they're there now. Cool, I'm watching.
Yeah.
So huge fan, and obviously what happened devastated me. Like
Yeah.
because it was more than just him. Obviously, I have this really soft spot for children. That sounds so bad. I've fostered. Me and my wife have fostered children. Like we
Yeah.
we really love children. We really think children need to be protected. And my wife is a huge true crime fan. And whenever there's stuff she's watching on YouTube, true crime, that's children, I leave the room because I'm like, I can't watch this. This is too
Mm.
much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Chris Benoit is where wrestling and true crime dovetails.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
100%.
So
So
just, for people who might not know the story of Chris Benoit, sorry, let me just,
you're
we
right.
should have started actually.
Yeah,
Um, so he's known as the Canadian Crippler. He had a very intense style. He wasn't a very tall man, but he made up for it by
yeah,
bulking
yes,
um,
yeah,
with a little bit of assistance. Uh, Quite a lot of assistance, I believe. But he had what part of his moveset included a flying headbutt.
yeah,
He was basically, because he wasn't the biggest guy, he was pushing his body further to make
yes,
up for it. And being in that era, we didn't have as much awareness around TBIs and
Mm.
CTE,
Yep.
and so um, nobody really had any understanding what was going on.
Mm.
And towards the end of his life, he was apparently having mood swings, and because Nancy, his wife, had actually looked at a separation at one stage. I think she may have even
Yes.
tried to file for divorce, but yeah. So behind closed doors, his mental health was clearly suffering.
Yeah.
Because one thing that can happen when somebody has had too many TBIs is it can actually affect your emotions, and
Yep.
so it's not just confusion and memory loss and things like that. It's also emotional regulation. So
Mm.
you can get aggressive, you can get paranoid, depressive. I've seen all of these in people I know,
Mm.
to a far lesser extent.
Yep. Yep.
But ultimately, he didn't turn up for work.
Yeah.
And when WWE and the wrestlers when they went around, he had uh, he had hanged his wife and his son, his young
Mm.
son, and then himself, I
Yeah.
believe, or he choked them out. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
he family annihilator basically. He
Yeah.
had and he didn't really leave much explanation about it.
No.
Yeah. But they did an autopsy, and when they examined his brain, they said it looked like a 90-year-old dementia patient's.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so the amount of trauma that he'd had, amount of brain trauma he'd had,
Mm.
his brain was sponge-like, was
Yeah.
another word that the medical examiner used.
Yeah.
And so Chris Benoit is the cautionary tale when it comes to head injuries. But
Yeah.
I still see guys breaking their fall with their heads, and it's like I know there's not much to protect in there, but please
Mm.
just work with me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. And sometimes it's not about, like you see these wrestlers and they're willing to do it, but I think that a lot of people need to realize it's not just protecting yourself; it's protecting your loved ones from.
Yes.
I mean, let's hope and pray this, things like this never happen again. But it's also, maybe you don't go to that extent, but maybe you do go to the extent where now your loved ones have to care for you because
Mm,
you've gone a little too far. They have to look after you.
yeah.
They might have to look after a dementia patient.
Yes.
So it's more than
Yes.
just the person doing the act, doing the move or whatever, taking the fall.
Mm.
Yeah, and so
And
so
of course, with wrestling, you're bumping all the time, so
yeah,
you're always bouncing your brain around inside your skull.
yeah,
So there is always going to be that deterioration to some extent.
yeah,
And what it comes down to is how well you protect yourself so you don't take any unnecessary
mm,
brain wobbles. I mean, I'm not going to say that nobody should ever bump because
yeah,
otherwise we wouldn't have the sport of wrestling or the art form of wrestling.
yeah,
But I always tell the guys, look, broken bones heal.
mm,
Um, burns, we can put a skin graft on,
yeah,
but you're never getting those brain cells back.
yeah, yeah. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's not treatable, it's just manageable.
And I think for a lot of people, like if there's people listening to this, and you're like, well, I'm not a wrestler. Well, are you a rugby player? Do you
Mm,
play any other contact sport? And
yeah.
I think that
Do you do some MMA when you're a kid? Do you,
yes, yeah,
you know, do you go off-roading and jostle yourself around in the back of a car? Like there's a lot of things that we can do that puts us at risk for a TBI, traumatic brain injury.
yeah,
And it's not just, see, yeah, it isn't just what we think of as brain damage. That's the effect that we have to worry about. It is those emotional
mm,
regulation issues because this is how your marriage can fall apart.
yeah,
You forget conversations that you had last week. You get paranoid. You get aggressive.
mm,
Um, you're depressive. You withdraw. All of those things can be symptoms of TBIs.
yeah.
And so yeah, it's a big challenge to look out for.
Yeah, and it also can be as simple as, I mean, it doesn't have to be a, Chris Benoit took like you said, the flying headbutts. He took steel chairs to the head. He took
Mm,
multiple, as a lot of wrestlers do. It can also be, well, I bumped my head, but I didn't pass out. It's like, well, it doesn't have to be a hard hit. It just has to be enough.
Mm,
And you can't see inside, you know.
yeah. And it isn't necessarily one big hit. It's
Mm,
many, many, many cumulative tiny ones sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So from your time in the business, have you seen a change? I mean, obviously, when we watch, the promotions on TV, we've seen a change in the way they do things. Have you seen that here as well on the ground level in New Zealand? Have you seen like guys are saying, "Well, no, I'm not going to do that anymore," or are there still, like you said, you have to give some warnings to some of the guys saying and girls saying, "Hey, you've only got so many brain cells." Are you seeing a change, or is it still
Yeah.
rough
Well,
territory?
actually, in New Zealand, I don't find it as much of an issue.
Mm,
Certainly not in my home promotion. Like we train, um, we train with sense. We train with care.
mm,
And the trainers at the IPW school are excellent.
yeah,
It's actually in Australia that I've seen some reckless disregard of one's noggin.
yeah,
Yeah, and because I sometimes I go to Australia to do deathmatch tournaments.
gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
And of course, try and tell a deathmatch wrestler don't do that. It's not good for you. And they'll do it twice as hard.
Yeah, yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. I mean, it's all in the title, isn't it? Deathmatch.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
like these guys are going to do what it
It's
takes.
like, bruh, it's the illusion of death. Come on,
Yeah,
work with me here.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know there's a lot of people who don't like to break kayfabe, but then there's breaking kayfabe, and then there's putting your life on the line. So I can imagine it's fairly scary. With that, though, with the head injuries and stuff like that, um, I think one of the problems, I don't know about you, but I've always thought as well, one of the problems we face as New Zealanders is that we do come from a place where, games like rugby league are the norm. And this is what people are playing.
Yeah. And she'll be right, rub some dirt in
She'll be
it.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. And I know from my days in high school, I was never really a rugby player. I played socially on the ninth grade team sort of thing. And our motto was, if it rains, we won't train. So so it wasn't really effective for me. But I know a lot of the guys in the first division team in high school were. I'm not going to wear that. The head protection, soft head protection
Yes.
in rugby. I'm not going to hear that. I'll look like a whatever. I
Mm,
don't want to look soft. I want to look tough,
yeah.
and all that sort of
Although
thing.
I'm not sure that those are actually all that
No,
effective
they're not.
because the damage is actually the brain knocking against the inside of the skull. It's not the blow from the outside. It's
No.
the rebounding. It's the kind of jelly wobble situation.
Yeah, and to be honest, all they really do protect is your ears from
Mm,
cauliflowering and stuff like that. So I think we do come from a nation of that. Yeah, like you said, she'll be right. Get up, keep playing. And I think
yep,
in
walk it
wrestling,
off.
walk it off. I think in wrestling as well, there's a history of, we always work injured. We're always injured.
Yes.
We
Well,
always work hurt.
working hurt. I
Yeah,
think I like to think there's a difference between being hurt and being injured.
yeah.
So working hurt, like, yeah, I work hurt all the time.
Mm,
I try not to work injured. For instance, I think of it like if you're hurt, it's going to go away on its own. If you're injured, you're going to need some intervention.
mm.
Like I had an injury recently. I had bursitis in my shoulder.
Ooh,
Yeah, no, referees get repetitive strain injury from
mm.
slapping the
Yeah,
canvas.
yeah,
It sounds so silly because people say, people so sarcastically said, "Oh, how did you hurt your shoulder? Slapping the mat?" And I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
"Yes, yes, that is how I hurt my shoulder actually."
Wow.
Uh, but I had a cortisone injection in that recently, and now I'm rehabbing it, and I'm having to sort of try and activate a different group of muscles.
Mm.
But say that would be working injured, which I try not to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, definitely nobody is 100%.
When
From the
you
day you take your first bump, you're not 100%.
no, I would imagine you're not. You're always going to have aches and pains.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, with this and mental illness, stemming from TBIs, but also, I just want to ask about your injury. So, you have this neck. Is it a neck fusion or is it plates
Yeah.
in your
Yeah.
neck? Yeah,
Yes, so I have some screws and plates
yeah.
in my C3 and C4, I think it is.
Do, are you considered, or have you been? Were you considered at the time of head injury with that? Because I mean, obviously we haven't gone into how that happened, but also, but was it a case of like, well, I better go get checked, or do you sort of monitor yourself just in case?
Yeah, no, for me, that particular injury I knew was from taking loads on heavy loads on the back of my neck that I couldn't handle.
Okay.
Uh, so it was actually direct weight applied to the area, so I knew that my head wasn't compromised.
Yeah.
But living with chronic pain is one of the most draining things for your mental health possible. And before I had the fusion, my life was completely curtailed. It was just thinking about the whole day was spent trying to get out of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just there was no room for anything else in my life except for the pain. So I was very lucky that I was able to access the surgery.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
because it did give me my life back after a very, very hard recovery. But yeah,
do you have any ongoing issues now since the
I'm
surgery?
always going to be in pain,
Yeah.
but I'd rather be in pain in a wrestling ring.
Fear.
Yeah, I'm going to be in pain anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I've found is that when I'm busy, when I'm occupied, when I'm pushing myself a little bit, the volume turns down. And so it isn't such an intrusive thing. And so
Yeah.
that just gives me space mentally
Yeah.
to experience what's in front of me.
Yeah. I I can relate to that. I can relate to exactly what you're saying because I have something similar where I several years ago I broke my ankle. I shattered my ankle, I should say.
Oof.
So I had to get like I've got plates and all that as well through my ankle though. And it's fine now. Like apart from when it's very cold, I'm lucky I don't have much pain. But for a while there, the only time I was pain free was on stage. So I could stand
Mm,
there on stage doing stand up for an hour,
yep,
no pain at all. Walk off stage, excruciating.
yep.
And I think it's the same.
As soon as I ring the bell,
Yeah, you're on.
I can't feel it.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I hear what you're saying about that time you're in the ring, and that could obviously be 6 minutes to 20, 30
Mm.
an hour.
Yeah.
It's a
Well, for a
relief.
referee, I mean, usually there's two of us working, so there's
Yeah,
myself and Conan.
yeah,
So we'll usually divide a show up. So you're looking at a good up to an hour
yeah,
on a standard show, and sometimes I do a show solo as well. If I'm the only one available, then I'll just do the show by myself, and I've done that a few times too. So
yeah,
you can end up doing almost 2 hours.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So that 2 hours must be a nice break. You know what I mean? Because I know when I'm on
mm,
stage, it's a nice break.
yes. Well, a lot of the time I'm worrying about everything else.
Yeah,
It's as soon as I hit the ring, my brain goes completely blank, and I'll stand there next to the announcer thinking, how does wrestling work? Why, what's going on? Who who put me in charge? Is it a 5 count on the ropes?
yeah,
Or like, and as soon as I ring the bell again, it comes back. But that level of anxiety doesn't, I don't think it's ever going to go away, honestly. I
yeah.
think I'm always going to be standing, I could be 10 years in and, super senior official, and I'll still be going,
Oh my god.
3 counts like 3 seconds, right? And
Yeah, but
it's 10 on the outside, unless it's a particular rules championship match in that one promotion, in which case it's 20. Because the rules change as well, depending on where you
yeah,
are and what the match is. And,
yeah, yeah,
and it's so easy to go into automatic pilot. And you'll hear, the announcer will say it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, or it's a no DQ, or whatever it is, or a street fight. And then as soon as you see them doing a choke in the corner, you're over there going, oi, 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 get off.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, never mind. As you were, sir, that is permitted
yeah,
for this particular match.
yeah. I want to talk about your mental health. So, when did you first think something not quite right here? Like why aren't
Mm,
I happy like they are, or whatever?
yeah,
When did you first realize, hey, there's something a bit different about me? And
yeah.
And maybe I need to
Well, I
think about
was
this.
very unusually for the 1980s.
Hmm.
I was actually diagnosed with, well, it was still called hyperactivity back then. It
Hmm.
wasn't, we didn't know that ADHD was a cluster of things. It was just,
Yeah.
I was just diagnosed hyperactive.
Yeah.
Uh, and that was when I think I was 3. I was at
Yeah.
kindergarten. So it was very much something I grew up knowing that I was weird.
Mm.
And the people around me made sure that I knew I was weird in case I ever forgot. I was I was sort of brought up in a theatre and dancing family, so I had that performance and the performative thing, and the things I'd hyperfixate on weren't things that any of the kids in my class could relate to me about,
Yeah.
and so I was always reading and I was always building my own world. I usually played by myself because I couldn't get other kids up to speed on the games that I was trying to play because I was usually telling stories.
Yeah.
And when I sort of, but I got bullied a lot, of course, and my parents tried putting me in a Rudolf Steiner school, so a sort of
Oh, okay. Yeah.
alternative education,
Yeah.
and I got bullied there too.
Mm.
Um, I got bullied by the hippie kids, which is kind of embarrassing. But I basically decided I wanted to go back to a mainstream school, and
Mm.
I sort of when I was 13, I sorted that out and got myself into third form. But I already crashed then. So in my third
Mm.
form year, I was having fits of crying. I was just having all sorts of just feelings of hopelessness.
Mm.
Just just an emotional state. It wasn't even I couldn't even put my finger on causes specifically.
Yeah.
It was just this deep welling up of I don't think I want to be here.
Mm.
And I developed disordered eating.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I grew up, my family are dancers.
Wow.
So there was always some pressure on me to look a certain way and to conform. And so then when I was losing weight initially, it was something that was praised. And then when I went
Mm.
too far, it was something I was scolded for. And
Mm.
I learned that there's only a very sort of narrow range of weight that I'm allowed to be at. And then
Mm.
if I'm heavier or lighter, I'm going to get scolded for it. So
Mm.
I
Wow.
developed a really terrible relationship with food.
Mm.
Absolutely appalling. Still to this day, have a terrible relationship with food. I just do intermittent fasting now, so I eat once a day,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that's it. And then that's so I've sort of tried to take food out of the equation. It's just
Mm.
like, okay, this is the eating window.
Yeah.
Food is 8. It's over. We're good. Move on.
Mm.
So and then obviously went into, and that was with me. That was with me through high school. I got better. As I got more involved in fine arts. I was doing painting. I was performing arts. I was leading the school play a few times. I was directing children's theatre myself. So
Mm.
as a teenager, I was
Wow.
directing kids in shows. So I had a lot of things filling my brain up. But then by the time I got to university, I burned out,
Mm.
absolutely collapsed. I couldn't sustain myself anymore. I feel like I felt like I'd spent my teens running as fast as I could to stay in place,
Mm.
and then I just collapsed. And so I'm the gifted child to adult burnout pipeline.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then over over time when I was working in film, so TV, I was working on Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I did
Cool.
like eight seasons of that, but I was trying to lift loads that the men were lifting because
Yeah.
I thought I thought I was the same as them, and I was very, very wrong. I could not lift the same weights they were lifting, and I started getting this deterioration in my neck,
Mm.
and so then the pain came, and that just knocked me completely off track,
Yeah.
and I developed. I developed substance abuse issues because I
Mm,
was just trying to find a way to medicate the pain and just yeah, blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
And so yeah, mental health has always been since since I was in my mid-teens onwards, I think it's always had an external cause.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so some people, mental illness is a chemical imbalance and it's
Hmm.
congenital. It's something that comes from internal.
Yeah.
Whereas I find that mine seems to have an external locus of control.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So, but that's the good news is that I can push back on that by changing
Mm,
what I do,
yeah.
uh, because it's not coming from within, so I can fight against it. So I
Yeah.
think that puts me in a very, very good position to handle mental health.
Yeah. Yeah. It does. I think you're very lucky.
Mm,
I mean, with a lot of work,
extremely.
obviously that's come with a lot of work from
Oh
yourself
yeah,
too.
it's very hard work, but I'm
Yeah.
lucky to be able to do the hard work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So these days, if something impacts you, something comes along out of your control sometimes,
Mm.
what does that look like now? Are you do you bounce back a little fast? Like, do you have a mantra or a thing you go through to bring yourself back
Mm.
up, or is it just riding the wave and
Yeah.
taking it as it comes sort of thing?
These days, my biggest mental health challenge is quite crippling anxiety.
Mm,
And that's something that has a physiological effect on me. I'll get tightness in my chest.
yeah.
Um, uh, my breath will get shaky, and it can be triggered by things as silly as somebody actually me on one of my TikToks, and now I have to argue with them, um, or not, or let it
Mm,
go,
yeah.
or but do they hate me?
Mm,
Are
yeah.
they commenting because it can be very small things can send it. And the only thing that I have to control it is just balling it up
Hmm.
and pushing it away.
Mm,
I have to visualize that. It's like this thought can't be in here right now. It's got to go somewhere else. I need to bundle it up and put it on a shelf.
yeah.
And so I find myself doing a lot of physical gestures of just pushing away
Wow.
or
Yeah, that's
shaking.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or
it's a lot of
shaking my head to sort of
visualization. Mm,
shake the idea out of my brain. So
yeah.
yeah, I've developed probably some tics. It probably looks from the outside like all sorts of nonsense, but that's the best technique I've found.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair enough. And if it works, it works. Who cares what it
Yeah.
looks like? If you get to where you need to be, that's all that matters. I ask this to a lot of people. I ask a lot of people on the show this because I just find it really interesting. When these things happen, they boil up inside or whatever, something's impacted you. Maybe you're having one of those days where like just getting out of bed is rough. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm,
hard just to
yeah.
even do the basics. What do you do? Like, do you have something that pushes you through, or are you just like just get up, just force yourself to do it, or do you have something that will get you through the day on those sorts of days?
I just work towards the next thing.
Yeah, cool.
So I almost I almost travel back in time.
Mm,
Like at 7 p.m. I have training.
yeah,
So I need to leave for the gym at 6:30. So I need to be out of the shower by 6. So I need and so I'll build my day backwards.
that's
And
great.
that's how, yeah. So it's the whole cutting it down into bite-sized chunks thing, but I
Yeah,
find if I do it backwards,
yeah,
somehow if you think about the thing that's most distant first,
yeah.
it's not as scary because it's the furthest away.
It's interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
I've realised it's actually I interviewed someone last week or the week before, and she talked about visualization. She visualizes stuff, and it's quite funny because it wasn't until she said it I realized that's exactly what I do. I visualize, but I do it the other way from you, whereas you start at the end and work back. Like you said, 6 o'clock, got to be out of the shower, which means I got to have dinner at this time, sort of thing. I do the exact same but forward. It's like, okay,
You're right.
I want to get to that point, but what do I got to do first? And then it's a similar but backwards, I guess. We both do it.
I think it is wrangling time down into acceptable chunks
Yeah, that's it.
because 12 hours when you're already overwhelmed is just about 11 and a half hours too many.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes, 100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's too
Whereas
much to
on
fathom.
days that I have that blocked out, like a show day, for instance,
Yeah,
I'll usually be at the gym for loading at 10 or 11 in the morning, travel to the venue to set it up, do the show, load it, unload it again, go back to the gym, and sometimes we're not getting out of there until 2 or 3 in the morning. So there's a
yeah,
huge block of time, and when that time is blocked and committed, and I know that I can put my phone away because nobody else is allowed.
yeah,
This time is for wrestling. I have a show. This is a show day. Whatever it is can wait.
yeah. That's
So
awesome.
giving myself the luxury of a day where nothing else is allowed in,
Yeah.
and having that fairly regularly now has, I think, been very helpful.
Wow, that's cool. Do you have do you have a support system around you, or are you? And there's no wrong answer here. Like, do you have a support system around you for when it's a bit hard, or are you more of a, I think I know the answer to this. Are you more of a self-determined person where you're like, nope, I'm going to do it for
I'm a
myself?
white knuckle.
Yeah,
I
I
white
thought
knuckle
I
it.
thought you would say that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have great friends in my life.
yeah,
My wrestling friends, my friends from earlier parts of my life,
yeah,
all sorts of communities around me are fantastic.
yeah.
But no, I do tend to just how when a cat is quite badly injured, they'll sort of crawl under the house
Yeah, yeah,
to either heal or not either heal or die. I'm a bit
yeah,
like that. It's
yeah.
like I will crawl away and lick my wounds and then hopefully emerge
Gotcha.
with a new scar, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know if I want to go into this, but let's do it anyway. We
Oh,
can
you can
always
get it
not
out
do
of
it.
it. Yeah.
You said you're in film. You had a partner that you worked with.
Yep.
Found out that there was things he was doing.
Yes.
No one
So
should ever be doing.
yeah. So and I am going to name names
Go
because
for
it
it.
is a matter of public record
Yeah,
now.
yeah, for sure, 100%. And
So
I should
yes.
actually put it out. You know, I believe everyone who's done this should be named. I don't think there
Yes.
should. There's a case going on at the moment in the news, and it makes me angry that temporary name suppression. Okay, fine. Allow these people to warn their families, but sorry,
Yeah.
with what you did, everyone needs to know.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I'm with you. Name away.
Yep. Yeah. So I met Rajneel Singh at university. So that's how long our association goes
Wow.
back.
Yeah.
And he was doing amateur filmmaking. He did a short film called The Phanomatrix that got quite a bit of play because it was one of the sort of first internet releases. And I went and did makeup artistry and production design. So I was
Wow.
doing prosthetics and
Cool.
sort of more hands-on stuff. And so we sort of came together as having this common interest, and we worked together on some projects. And we were very good friends. Well, I thought we were very good friends. I didn't actually know him at all.
Yeah.
The person he pretended to be was a great friend of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So we lived together on and off for 20 years. Like we were not we were never a couple. It was never a romantic situation, but we were very, very tight, very close friends. And during lockdown, we decided to roll our sleeves up and really get stuck in, and we started working as a screenwriting partnership. Because we're in the same house, there's nowhere else to go. Let's actually let's
Yeah.
do some work. And so we started so we started writing together, and then we were applying for all of the developmental programs. When I'm sure you know from comedy, but when you're in the creative arts, you spend most of your time filling out forms
Yes.
or writing summaries of your summary.
Yeah. Yep. Totally.
You've got your 100 word version, you've got your 300 word version, etc., etc.
Yeah.
But we went through a lot of these application processes, and we found ourselves getting shortlisted a lot of the time, and sometimes accepted. And we'd gotten to the point, I feel, where we were just stepping through the door. We were just having opportunities were just opening for us. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, um, the house was raided. I think about almost 3 years to go to the day, and an entire, I think nine police officers
Wow.
came in. So myself and the other two innocent flatmates are absolutely bewildered. And it was a couple of weeks after the anniversary weekend floods, which had leveled our entire lower floor of our house.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
so we were already shell shocked. Absolutely. We had no idea. We couldn't figure out what was going on. And I'm sure they probably said something quite clearly, but there was so much mental static going on that we weren't quite sure. But they wouldn't tell me exactly what they were there, who it was or what it was. Like I could tell from the questions that there was that it was something about objectionable materials. Um, but we didn't really have a lot of information to go on, and so they'd taken him to the station, took Rajna to the station, but then they brought him back and just released him, and we thought we weren't quite sure what was actually happening. And he said,
Yeah.
"Well, I didn't want to hand you shouldn't hand your devices over without talking to a lawyer. Why did you guys? You're all idiots, basically." So we were very confused. So it took for a while we kind of it felt like we had been force teamed into having this secret because we couldn't talk about it to other people, and we were going, obviously we wanted to evict him, but then we thought, well, if we evict him, he's going to go live with people who don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe we need to see what's happening with this. And the thing that baffled us, the thing that really threw us off, was that he didn't act like a guilty person. He acted the way you'd expect somebody who had accidentally downloaded the wrong torrent to act. And it was very difficult to square it away. But we found out when the charges were actually laid that it wasn't just possession; it was possession and distribution. So he had the very worst of the worst. I know you probably know the one I'm referring to because everyone's heard of it. And he was sending these things out to people.
Yeah.
And some of these people he had met on FetLife, and
Oh, yeah.
they were doing age play, they were doing role play, and he was apparently just dropping these materials into the chat with somebody
Yeah.
who wasn't expecting them. And these young people, these are mostly vulnerable young trans people that he was specifically seemed to be targeting.
Yeah.
And fortunately, one of them knew a friend of ours named Tove Partington, who was an absolute badass and has never seen an injustice she can walk away from. And so she supported them to actually report it to the police, and that's how he was actually discovered in the first place. So
Wow.
once he was charged, she was able to tell us what was actually going on.
Yeah.
So of course that was full ties cut severed the whole thing. It was but then we had to wait another year
Yeah.
for it to work its way through court. So even though he'd been charged, we found out later pled guilty, but we still had to wait for sentencing, and
Mm,
the name suppression wasn't lifted until sentencing.
yeah.
It's like, he's pled guilty.
Yeah.
You've accepted his guilty plea. Why are we? But yeah, so we had to I had to weigh I had to weigh up my words very carefully
Yeah.
because I my biggest concern was that if I spoke too freely, I might compromise the case against him.
Gotcha.
He might be able, his lawyer might be able to say he hadn't gotten a fair
Mm,
hearing or whatever it was.
yeah.
So I wasn't necessarily worried about the consequences for myself. If I got in trouble, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to mess up the process.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he was eventually sentenced to 6.5 years.
Yep.
And of course, mandatory discounts.
Mm,
He got like I think he's three and a third years, or 3.25 years that he's serving.
mm,
Um, and who knows how much of that he'll actually serve, because I think parole eligibility is 1/3 of the sentence.
mm.
So theoretically, he could be out in a couple of months.
Wow. That's.
So I'm just hoping that that doesn't happen. But
Mm,
honestly, the fact that he got a custodial sentence at all was a win.
mm, yeah.
Because one thing, what we uncovered while all of this was going on, I spoke to an old friend of his because I needed to tell her, I'd seen that he was trying to move on to her as his new
Uh,
his new narcissistic supply, basically.
gotcha.
And
Yeah.
I sort of very carefully sort of spoke to her and said, you do realize that we have evicted Rajneel and cut ties with him. And she said, did he do something on the internet?
Uh,
How do you know? She
mm,
said, well, he was charged with this before. No, no, I did not. No, I did not.
mm,
Way back, like 2000,
yeah. Wow.
early 2000s, and the case fell apart. I think probably back then they didn't have the technical ability to
Mm,
prosecute it properly.
yeah.
But she, back then, had, like us, had thought, well, okay, they don't have a case.
Mm,
This is obviously just, we didn't, they didn't really know how, barely knew how computers worked back then, I think.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so when I discovered that, I realized this is just who he has always been.
Yeah.
And that means that I never ever knew him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
because this had already started before I met him.
And that must have just destroyed your world because it was everything you knew,
Absolutely.
and it wasn't just.
I
Yeah.
It
Sorry. Keep
wasn't
going.
just yeah, well, it wasn't just him and my
Yeah.
knowledge of him. It was also my knowledge of myself, because
Yeah.
I came to realize that I saw myself the way he taught me to see myself.
Mm,
And then I had to start untangling that,
yeah.
because we had situations like we'd go to a meeting with a producer,
Mm,
and if it was a project that I was sort of, if it was my baby, I'd start talking about it and I'd get excited and I'd be chatting with the producer and we'd sort of
mm,
have our heads together and, you know, very sort of have a very high energy conversation. And then we'd get back in the car after the meeting and he'd say, well, you were very on, weren't you?
mm,
And I was like, oh, was I doing wrong?
mm,
And he sort of told me that I'm weird and off-putting and it's better if he does the public facing stuff.
yeah.
And and it wasn't until he needed the mask of his female collaborator that he started putting my name on projects.
Mm,
Yeah. So
wow.
I had to unlearn what he'd taught me about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Wow. What?
learning that people quite like me was a huge learning curve,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
he
I
had me
bet.
convinced that I was very hard to like.
Yeah. Oh, I bet it. Yeah. It must have been a
Mm,
hard road.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Jeez.
mean, I did think about taking myself and him out.
Yeah.
Like that was my first reaction
Yeah.
when I found out what had actually what he'd actually been doing was like, okay, well, is this the We Belong Dead
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein moment, honestly. Uh,
Oh,
but
that's
yeah,
so sad. And it's so
mm,
sad that you thought of I shouldn't be here as opposed to
yeah,
he shouldn't. You know, it
yeah,
was that's it. We're going. You know,
yeah,
and what's sad about that is you know that you were still thinking as a team. You know,
mm,
we.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
well, and I'm so glad you didn't, obviously, and I'm so glad you're still here because I mean it is amazing how you think you know. You know, you think you
Mm,
know someone, you think you know their, you spend all this time with them, you think you know their little quirks and their who they are and all that sort of thing, and then not just that, but like you said, you didn't know who you were afterwards. You
no.
know, like you said, you had to unlearn who you were or
Mm.
who
Who
he
he
had
told me I
created.
was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
my TikTok channel is partly an experiment in that. I have it partly for that very reason,
yeah,
is putting myself out.
hmm,
You know, sometimes some of it's persona, some of it's not. Your wrestling gimmick is always just you turned up to
yeah,
11 until the knobs fall off. It's,
yeah,
there's if something isn't genuine, it doesn't usually last long in a character.
yeah,
And so the persona that I put out, Lady Reffington, is me, is aspects of me.
yeah, yeah,
And that's very raw and that feels very naked because I put a TikTok out every day around midday.
yeah,
So I have a spreadsheet of ones I've already done, so I don't repeat myself.
yeah,
I've got a dump file for where I put the ideas and things,
yeah,
and every time I do one, I tie myself up in knots, making sure, am I correct? Am I giving inaccurate information? Do I sound too up? Do I sound too full of myself? Do I sound unsure? Is this boring? Is this all of those things, and I have to just post it anyway
yeah, yeah.
and accept that no one's going to come to my house and yell at me.
Wow. That's really interesting because I'm new to this to doing TikTok. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
you, I wish I was prepared as you. I'll say that is amazing. The fact that you have a spreadsheet, you track it.
I am your classic type A control
Yeah,
issues.
I didn't want to say it, but yes.
Woman of a certain age. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, I think it's wonderful because I am the complete opposite. Whereas I'll go, I treat TikTok like I treat writing comedy, where in the moment I'll go, this I know this, and so if I think of a joke, often I'm like, that's a joke, and I write it down. Da, da, da. Now I'm trying to treat filming TikToks as that, like, oh, I've got something to say, and I'm going to say it.
Mm.
But it's amazing how
Almost like
many,
a dictaphone
yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Only public.
only public, yeah, totally.
Okay.
But it's like you would be shocked if you ever went on my phone. There are 20, 30, 40 clips on there probably where I've gone, this, I've recorded it, and then the second I hit stop, my mental health kicks in, and I actually do a bit about this on stage now, where I go, no one wants to hear from you, you know, and
Mm,
I
mm.
ooh,
Yep.
your beard is scraggly and you look
Who
terrible.
are you to
That's it.
take
Who
up
are you?
people's time and energy by making them listen to you for 30 seconds?
Yeah,
How dare you?
total imposter syndrome hits. So
Yep.
the ones I do post, there's probably 4 I didn't, you know, or
Mm.
not even re-recorded. Just went, no, I'm never going to put that out, you know. And the ones that that make it are usually because I've had something to drink or whatever, you know, and have a bit more Dutch courage,
Yep.
or I actually have something important to say, you know.
Yes.
So I will say that I think I liked your TikTok channel immediately because you really displayed confidence is I
Mm.
guess the best way to put it. Like I was like, wow, this person is a very passionate. Like I could see it straight. You talked about how when you're in the ring, you know, you're good at displaying emotions on your face, and I
Mm.
could not agree with that more. Like from the first one I saw, I was like, wow, this person's got a lot of passion about what they're doing, but a lot of confidence about what she's talking about the subject she's talking about. And that's where I found down the rabbit hole. And also, like I said, I was like, oh my God, this is great. A New Zealand female referee. Oh,
Mm.
fantastic. I'm here for this, let's go. Let's see what this is about. It was also really important to me because, I don't know, I probably haven't told you, I've got 3 girls. So I've got 4 children, a little boy and 3 teenage girls. The oldest one is 17 and they stagger down from there. And they are really funny because I'll watch wrestling and they'll go, oh, your dad's watching wrestling. But it's amazing how many times they'll sit there and start watching,
Mm.
especially if there's either female wrestlers or female referees, which there's now a lot more of, thankfully. They'll actually, I can see them going, oh, okay, these aren't the guys in the tights. What's going on?
I find the interesting thing about a female match official in particular
Mm-hmm.
is young girls can project themselves onto me in that role.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't necessarily project themselves onto even our women's division wrestlers
Yeah.
because they're perhaps a little bit too far away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
But they can see me, they can see that I'm mortal. I'm fragile. I'm scared if they're coming at me too fast, and if and I'll get annoyed if they break the rules. So I'm human,
Yeah.
and however fragile it might be, I assert control over the situation. And so there has been some young girls, even from wrestling families,
Yeah.
who've sort of seen me and gone, "Oh, maybe there's a place for me in wrestling. It isn't necessarily in the ring."
Yeah.
Of course, I'll get them in the door and we'll get them in the ring eventually, I'm pretty sure. But it's a good gateway.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think what you put out is great, but it is interesting to hear how, just so rewinding a bit, how you've, it is quite cool because, like you said, you came from a media background, studying and then going into the media production, then into wrestling, but now you're back into media via social media. But
Yes, but now I'm performing.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
haven't performed since I was 16 years old.
yeah,
Yeah. I acted when I was a child,
yeah,
and then I just stopped pretty much overnight.
yeah,
I obviously I hit a wall with my confidence or something, and so it's only now at mumble years old
yeah,
I've come back to actually performing again.
yeah.
Oh, can you tell us? I was going to tell a story
Sure, yeah,
about that fan connection.
yeah.
And this is something that happened recently that had me in tears. We had another Live in Hamilton show, sort of very big show now. It's sort of an annual thing, and
Yeah.
in the lead up to it, I'd gone on my TikTok and I'd made a little TikTok running down the card and giving my opinions on the matches, and this is going to be like this, and I'm keeping an eye on him, and one of my followers saw it and decided, you know what, I'm going to go to the show. And the man is, I would say, almost completely blind. And he came along anyway because somehow he connected with me through my TikTok. And I think it's because my facial features are so easy to read, perhaps. But he connected enough through my silly little 30-second videos that I drew a blind man to a wrestling show.
Wow.
And I was just tearing up all
Yeah.
night. It was just so special.
Yeah.
Just
That's amazing.
having had that effect was just it's just such an honor.
Yeah. Yeah, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. It also could have been like, your voice. You have a great voice. Like, we're recording this. I can't see you, but like I said, when you speak on TikTok and you speak with some authority, now that's like confidence and knowledge, and you're bringing something that you love to the table, and you can hear it in your voice. And I think it's really compelling. Do you know what I mean? Like, you drew me in by speaking.
Oh, that's good.
The referee shirt was cool too, because that's what really I was like, whoa, referee, what's this?
Yes, it's an easy visual.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and I have quite a collection of them. I have
yeah,
far too many referee shirts, but I have different ones for different occasions.
yeah. I'll tell you
And
what.
and one of them that's only for bleeding because I can't get the stains out.
I see.
Yep.
So now so you're broken kayfabe. So if someone turns up in an event and there's light pink stains on your top, someone's drawing colour for the night. Is that it?
Yeah, it's kind of like a dull orangey sort
Yeah,
of yeah. It's just that hemoglobin.
yeah,
It's been in so many SARD tubs, but no, I mean that's reserved for deathmatch shows now.
yeah.
And
Fair.
if I turn up for a deathmatch show and somebody's not bleeding, we've got a problem.
Yeah, is
And
it really a
everyone would
deathmatch at
be
that
fully
point?
entitled to a refund.
That's awesome. We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But every episode we have these, well, for lack of a better term, quick fire questions. They're not quick fires, and you don't have to give me a quick answer. They're just quick questions to
Just prompts.
just prompts to end the show in a positive way. Now, normally I do these face to face, and you'll obviously it's a bit hard for you to do this. And normally you would draw them from a bowl
Right.
randomly. But what I've done is I've numbered them all 1 to 30. And so
Okay.
you're going to pick 5 numbers, and I will ask you those 5 questions. So if you don't mind, if you can give me 5 numbers between 1 and 30.
Okay. 7,
Yep,
11, 23,
yep.
30. Hang on. What was the top parameter?
30. 30 was the size of
30.
it.
Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah, I better go back and go 28.
28. Cool, and we'll do them in that order. So here we go.
Maths is not a strong suit. I can count to 3. That's the qualification.
Well, you did well. You did well. Okay, number 7. What was the last thing you ate?
It was last thing I ate was some barbecue pork steam buns, and I ate those at 10 p.m. last night.
Wow, good.
Yeah, I'm still doing my intermittent fasting bullshit.
And if you're going to do it, you did it well because yum. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
if you only get 1 meal a day, you got to maximise that meal.
exactly. I've just got that tiny window, and whatever I eat in it, it's the only meal I have, so it's got to be decent.
Wow, that's awesome. We're going to stay on food with 11.
Hmm.
What is the most random item you have in your fridge or pantry?
Oh, I mean, the most random item we have in the pantry right now is every single flavor of cat food manufactured ever. Uh,
Yeah,
so we rescued a kitten recently. He's Grex the Destroyer.
yeah,
I have high hopes for him. He's going to be a deathmatch guy, I'm sure of it.
yeah,
He's and so he's being fed very regularly, obviously, because he needs to be strengthened and fattened up and
yeah,
grow into a big tough boy. And our adult cat, of course, isn't very happy about this. And so now whenever he gets fed, she's getting a treat.
yeah,
Yes. But she's also supposed to be taking her roids. Yeah,
yeah,
my cat's on the gas. Um, so we have to grind the prednisone up and mix it into her food.
yeah,
Except that now she's got to the point, that cat stage of, I liked the salmon yesterday. Now it disgusts me. Get it out of my sight.
yeah,
I wish for the tuna.
yeah,
Yes, and no, not this tuna, the
yeah.
other
The
one.
other one,
And
yeah,
so yeah, we have like those little fancy feast, tiny little cans. We just got like a stack of them.
yeah,
I just went to the supermarket and just got one of pretty much everything. So it's like, look, you will like one of these
yeah.
at some stage.
Brilliant. Number 23. What are you most proud of? It's a big one, isn't it?
Actually, what I'm most proud of is, firstly, my my wood name, Anna Wood. That that name, which was, I say, was given to me, as a name that I earned, and I don't think that Conan, when he picked wood. He mainly picked it because of all the dick jokes he could make. And now it has
Brilliant.
become the most prestigious name in antipody and refereeing.
Yeah.
And uh, he always so I was doing a show up north, grassroots for Aotearoa Wrestling, which
Hmm.
is Hennare's promotion. And when I turned up, I discovered that I was the senior official, and that was a first, and it was a big show, and I was absolutely, I was having kittens.
Yeah.
And Conan actually messaged and said, a Wood is perfectly capable of doing a show solo, no matter the scale.
Uh,
And I was like, well, I'm a Wood,
yeah.
and he says that I can do it, so I'm absolutely not going to let him down.
Wow. That's awesome.
And also, just like I say, being bad at something and
Mm.
persevering until I got better.
Yeah.
Um, I yeah, typical gifted child, burnout pipeline, type A, highly strung.
Hmm.
Usually, if I'm bad at something, I never do it again.
Mm.
Absolutely, like if I'm not good at something first try, I will walk away.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
for whatever, well, I think because of the level of pure spite that I was running on
Mm.
when I got involved with wrestling, I let myself be bad at refereeing and get better. And I
Yeah.
gave myself the grace, and I gave myself about a year, I think it took,
Yeah.
really to get to the point where I was like, actually, no, I think now I think I've got a knack.
Mm.
Before it was just an uphill slog the whole way, and nothing was clicking. And
Yeah.
usually I would have been out of there a long time ago.
Mm.
So
Wow.
maybe that's a new level of emotional maturity that I
Yeah.
actually managed to stick with something even though it didn't feel good.
Yeah. And obviously something I'm so glad you're proud of that because that's amazing. Like that's because I'm the same. If I'm not good at something, I tend to just leave. So
Yeah, yeah. Because
um,
it's ego death. It's soul
it is
destroying
100%.
to do something badly.
Yeah.
It keeps me awake at night when I do things badly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. I judging myself constantly, everything I do and say, and giving myself the permission to suck
Mm.
was actually one of the kindest things I think I've done for myself in a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah. Wow. And it's really important you do that, eh? Like
Mm,
you have to know you're going to fail. At first. And
yeah.
allow that to happen and just wash it off and keep going and try
Mm.
try again. Number 30. Do you believe in ghosts, magic, or aliens, or a combination of all three?
I believe that magic is mostly a system that we use to impose order and patterns
Hmm.
on existence. I now I have actually been involved in hexing somebody, which
Okay.
is well, and he's now serving a prison sentence, so it
Wow.
worked.
Success. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm mostly a skeptic and a pragmatist, but after the situation with Rajnil,
Hmm.
I found myself needing ritual.
Hmm.
I needed some sort of ceremony. It was beyond my ability to handle rationally.
Yeah.
And luckily, I know a very powerful witch,
Hmm.
and she came in and she did blood magic. It
Hmm.
was it was really dark shit, but it
Hmm.
was it needed to be. And at the end of it, all the materials and things went into a jar. And
Hmm.
she's like, keep this until the new moon and then bury it in a cemetery. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, okay, all right, okay, fine, cool. And I was like, well, you know what? If I don't and he gets off,
Hmm.
I will blame myself for not burying the hex jar. So I was like, okay, no, I'm just gonna commit. I'm gonna commit
Yeah.
and I'm going to do it. And so I waited new moon, so completely dark, midnight, went to a cemetery. Obviously, I didn't want to muck around with anyone's grave, so I
Yeah.
found a place away under a tree,
Yeah.
and I had my little trowel. And as soon as I put the trowel in the ground, kind of opened,
Mm.
and I popped the jar in, and it just swallowed it.
Yeah.
And it because it's pitch black, so I can't see. So I'm feeling around. I'm doing all of this by feel, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And so that was, that's the kind of experience that does shake your skepticism.
Mm. Yeah. That's
I mean, probably there was just an empty cavity by a root and the jar
mm,
happened to, but it pitch pitch black new moon midnight
yeah.
in a cemetery. It
Yeah, and you
doesn't feel
found
like
the
it doesn't
spot.
feel
Yeah.
like that at all.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was never a believer in well, magic, not really, but like, definitely not aliens.
Mm,
But in terms of that, what you're just saying, it's so funny because up until a few years ago, I did not believe in ghosts. Something happened. I lost several people,
mm,
in a very short span of time 2 years ago, like just, and the most important people in my life, like
yeah.
just sort of my pillars in my life were just suddenly gone. And I do believe there is a thing or something where they don't become ghosts, but they do become energy. And sometimes
Mm,
I do think that those energies sort of go, hey, you need to be, like you said, you need to be right under that tree because that's where we want you to be. And then we'll let you go and you go do your thing. You know what I mean? Like, they're
mm.
there to just push you in the right direction and go, there you are, we've helped you with what we need to, and off you go. Which is actually the reason I put that. Oh, my cat's arrived. Um, Sorry, we're a menagerie here at the
Oh,
moment. And I've got my bedroom door closed and she can't get out, so she's upset with me. Actually, sorry, 1 second. I'll let her out, eh? Otherwise
yeah.
she's going to harass me. Come on. There you go. Okay. Sorry. As I said, we're all animals here at the moment. So we have our cat, then 7 kittens, 3 dogs, and 3 birds. So,
Amazing.
and 4 children. Well, 5 if you count me, which my wife does. Okay, in question
We've only
20.
got we've only got the two cats, but the
Yeah.
kitten has 27 toes. He has so many beans, the harvest was abundant.
Yeah. It's funny because our cat's name is actually Toby, but we call him Toe Beans. Very similar reasons. Number 28. Oh, it's kind of a downer after that last question. Are you a morning or a night person?
Oh, I am a night person.
Yeah.
I'm fully nocturnal. Actually, currently I'm 100% nocturnal because baby kitten,
Because baby kitten, yeah.
24 hours. So downstairs is a morning person, and he's up at 4 in the morning,
Yeah.
and
Oof.
I'm the opposite. I'm up over, and so since the kitten turned up, since Grex the Destroyer graced
Mm.
our lives, I have been going to bed at 7 in the morning.
Yeah. Wow.
Except for today because I had a meeting, so today I just haven't been to bed.
Oh, jeez, you must be shattered.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I've always been bad at sleeping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even when I was a baby, my mum used to have to strap me in the car seat and drive around the block
Mm.
until I fell asleep. And she said, and I get you down for a bit, and then 20 minutes later, you're sort of just babbling and talking to yourself again. And it's like, well, yeah, well, nothing's really changed. Now I just do it on the internet where everybody else can laugh at me.
Yeah. Yeah. But it must be handy being a night owl for when you got to do a show,
Mm,
Like you
yeah.
said, pack down, you're out of there by 2, 3 in the morning.
Yes.
Very
Yes,
handy.
but the starts are rough. Like
Yeah.
tomorrow we're driving down to Hawke's Bay.
Mm.
So we have to. So the show's at 7. So we need to get there by, I mean, 4 at the latest because
Mm.
we have to set up. We're bringing the ring skirts. We're bringing a lot of the tech set up. So we need to get down there, get everything set up. Then I need to put on my. I call it drag. Basically, put all the Reffington stuff on my face,
Yep.
um, which is which I'm getting faster at, but it
Yep.
is it is very much it's a theatrical presentation. Like the face has to go on the right way. Um, get all that sorted out.
Yeah.
Get the ponytail right. Do the show, and so by the time you actually do the show, you've driven for 6 hours, and
Mm.
um and done some manual labor, and yeah,
Yeah.
and you're definitely ready to pass out when you get to the hotel or motel.
Do you nap before a show?
No, I'm
Not
not a
a, not a
napper.
napper?
I No, absolutely. Say bad at sleeping.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair, fair.
The amount of work it takes me to get to sleep, it's blindfold, it's binaural beats, noise cancelling,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's the whole palaver. Blue light filters on everything. Um, yeah.
That's hard. I'm sorry to say. I am am I warm? Yep, good night. That's it.
Oh, amazing.
I don't.
I do envy easy sleepers.
Yeah. Well, the only reason is I have sleep apnea, so
Yeah.
I'm always tired. Like I can always any if
Mm.
I can. Funny, I had Tuesday off work. I literally slept for 3 hours. I had a nap for 3 hours. I woke up an hour later. I said to my wife, I could go for another nap. And she's like, "You're insane."
Yeah.
Last question. We ask everyone this: what makes you happy?
Pass.
Well, other than Drax the Destroyer.
I like, honestly, I have fun when I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sick like that. Like to be I like to be occupied, and I like to be needed.
Mm.
I like to be useful,
Yeah.
and I really just I almost don't exist until I'm observed. I'm sort of Schrodinger's referee.
Brilliant. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Oh, social. If people want to find you on the,
Yes,
where can they
well,
find you?
I suggest they look at my TikTok, which is lady underscore Reffington with
Yep.
REFFINGTON. So I had to
Yep.
stop and think how to spell my own name for a second there. And then also on Instagram, which is lady underscore Reffington underscore NZ.
Cool.
Yeah. And of course, you can usually see me at IPW shows. That's Impact Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
And we're actually coming down to Taranaki, so that might be closer to your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
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 So I would definitely poke you to make sure try and get you to come along to that show.
Love to. I would love
Yes.
to get up. If I can, I will 100% be there, and I may even bring.
I think it's one of the J months, but I can't remember which.
I have the website booked, so I'll have a look at the upcoming events. But I might just see if I can convince, like I have all my wrestling mates. Might see if we can all carpool up, which would be
Yeah,
which would be
little
awesome.
little road trip.
Yeah, what we often like doing is what we may do is look at going up, going to the show, and if it's on say Saturday, we'll see if we can book a comedy show on the Friday, sort of thing, and
Oh, nice. Yes.
that might pay for our
think
travel.
I think it will be a Saturday. So
Yeah, perfect. So we might see if we can if we can, but
awesome.
otherwise,
Well,
yeah,
we'll hopefully see you there.
yeah. And I'd love to get you
And-
back on the show because I think there's more story to uncover.
Oh yes.
So we'll definitely do there. So I signed off.
I do have a tragic backstory, but
Oh, we got to cover that at some point.
all the best, the best narratives, you have to have a tragic backstory.
Oh, 100%. 100%. That's how the best masterminds are born,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you. Stay on for a second, but thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been a rad episode. I've really enjoyed this. Don't jump, everyone.